This is our new project. We have been looking for a van to convert for our little adventures across the UK and beyond. So, let's take you back to the beginning. We bought her back in June and named her Flossie. Now, we did buy Flossie knowing she had a few issues that needed taking care of, and at this point we thought it was a simple, quick fix. But oh boy, were we wrong.
So we're gonna try to fix the engine today, or at least try to figure out what's wrong with the engine. We have a slight locking noise from the engine. Would you like to show it? So I'm really just gonna try to start it.
Her engine was making a horrible knocking noise, something that we thought would be straightforward to repair, but this turned out to be a bit more tricky than we had hoped. This is our workshop for the next however many
episodes and days.
Years. We started looking at the small potential causes with no luck solving it, so deeper we went into her engine.
We need to get under. Oh yeah, we need to get right in there. What day is it?
Day 4?
Day 4, day 5.
Day 4.
We still have the same noise. We're just gonna take the front end off, start stripping the engine down and see where the noise is coming from.
The one thing we wanted to avoid, but unfortunately
I'm
we don't have
quite
much of a
looking
choice.
forward to it.
Are you?
Yeah, it's one thing.
I can only take about 2 things off and then I get stuck, so we'll see. After a few weekends at the farm working on her, most of her engine had been stripped out and still we had no luck diagnosing the problem. At this point we had no other choice but to completely strip her engine and inspect every small internal engine component. After a few more days of taking her apart, we finally found something. So what's happened?
So we took all the pistons out and that's what we found. Piston ring is seized.
One of her engine cylinders was running dry and most likely overheated, causing the piston and cylinder bores some significant damage.
So now there's a question, because we have some scoring on the actual engine cylinder bore. There's a question if the actual block needs to be replaced so we can actually do something about it. But we definitely need a new piston.
But we found something.
Yeah,
so
finally found something.
As soon as we found the problem, we were stuck with a decision. Buying and converting Flossie was meant to be a quick budget build, but ended up being a project on a much larger scale. So, what to do with the old girl? Fix her up or quit now? Fix her up, of course. There's life in the old girl yet. After a few weeks of research and looking for the parts she needed, we managed to find a used engine for spares and repairs for £100. All bargain.
And I just picked up a donor engine. Hopefully we can use spare parts or good parts from this engine.
Finding this meant that we could rebuild her engine with some of her own parts and some from the used engine to make her shiny and new. After a few weeks, we headed back down with all of her new parts ready to fit and start the rebuild process. This was a really stressful time on the build. We didn't want to start anything else until she was back to full health. Getting her engine in was going to be a challenge. It was really awkward and heavy. Getting it in the right place was hard work, but after a few attempts, her engine was finally in. Now was the moment of truth.
Today is the day. So we've got a few more bits to do and we'll see. Is it gonna start? Fingers crossed. All good.
After months of mechanical work, was she going to start and run? Our hearts were racing as Aramis turned the key. And after a few coughs and splutters, she was alive. No knocks or horrible noises. We were so thrilled.
So after a few weekends away, we're finally back. We arrived to the farm to start working on the van. And guess what I forgot? The keys for the van. Because we can't get in the van and all the parts and all the bits that I want to put on the front is in the van. So Emily had to go back all the way home to pick up the keys, which is gonna be 2 hours drive. Hopefully she's gonna be back soon and we can just finish off this front end. This engine is running nice and smooth now. I just replaced the crankshaft seal, so there shouldn't be any leaks or anything, because before we had a small oil leak.
So, now that she's running and all mechanical issues were fixed, we started on the fun part, her conversion. We took her out of the garage for the first time since June, and she's running fine. So now we're just clearing up the workshop for her to go back inside. We started with the simple steps, and to give us a better idea of what we were working with, we removed the bulkhead. This allowed us to see what space we had and really allowed some light in, and we also loved the idea of having easy access to the cab. We started removing all the plywood from the walls and floors, and that's when we came across another problem that stopped us in our tracks.
We started to strip everything down, and we found some more problems.
Ah, yes.
Yes.